And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I do apologize for the extended break, but we were waiting for some series to finish. We were waiting for some matches to wrap up, and now we have concluded the quarterfinals, and we are jumping into the semis, semifinals, and then grand finals thereafter. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Green Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the never mind. We will soon have a Terran player. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. But yes, welcome one and all to the semifinals. We were waiting for the quarterfinals matches to finish up, and they did actually conclude it around the same time. And now we are jumping into said semis. There we go. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Green Terran player. We have the red Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our Terran versus Protoss matchup. Here we go. Whew. So we are jumping in. Yo, calm down, man. Calm down. As we are going to be settling in. And again, if you're in the chats, best of luck with your Gamba, with your predictions as we are getting into our initial semifinals. Also, as a reminder, this is a best of 5. Best of 5, not a best of 3, so it's going to be a bit of a longer series as well. This is a recent change to the PiGosaur Cups. I wouldn't say, I say recent, like from maybe 2 months ago, a month ago. But we have best of 5 semis and best of 5 grand finals as well. Also a reminder, both semifinals will be playing concurrently. That means they're both going to be playing at the same time. They're both at the same time, which means the upper semis, which is going to be Max versus the winner of Estrella and Creator, will also be taking place and casted by some of the other casters. Nice snipe there from ByuN, takes on the probe, not bad, and going for a CC. Again, single gas opener, ranks expand. Bearing in mind that herO knows this. herO, he saw only 1 gas was taken, so he knows it's going to be a faster CC. Whether it's on location or yacht, that or not, that is so far is in the dark. So far is unaware as to that fact. But here he is aware it's going to be an economic start. So we get into our game. Ooh, going for the early Tech Lab. I believe that is Tech Lab yet before any units. So no Marine, no Reaver, going Tech Lab first. And most likely either into add-on swap, into Cyclone production, or into early Marauder. Which would be designed to punish, but there it is. Not going for the Marauder, instead going for the Cyclone. So Cyclone base opener out of ByuN. Here is poking out. Welcome one and all to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map. One of the larger maps in the map pool. Longer rush distance by ground, known for being more defensive here, and we could end up in a longer game. Both ByuN and herO, they prefer to be aggressive. They prefer to be active on the map. But we'll see what this leads into. Because of their tendencies, I mean, they may just bounce off each other and force themselves into a longer game as well. It happens. Happen. Until then, we have our Twilight Council, of course, working towards Blink. Blink is on the horizon. Stalkers are poking in. Say poke in. Oh! Forward. So far, ByuN will zone away. Will zone, nice little one, takes on the first Stalker, not bad. One Stalker goes down. ByuN, he deflects, he holds. And we'll see how many gateways here it gets up into. Remember here, he saw the initial opener. Behind this, we do see a more standard 2-1-1 setup here. That's going to be Raxed after the starport, initially starting things off with a mine drop. And here he opts to go for the faster third base. Okay, so we have a 2-gate blink opener into a third. Very greedy build here by herO. But ByuN isn't really built. He isn't really set up to punish this greed. He's going for drop play. Yes, he's going for a follow-up harassment option as well. Banshees are building up. Tanks are building up as well. No stim, no tech lab on the Raxes yet. Just purely tanks and Banshees. Okay. So ByuN, he can go for a ByuN push. He can go for a move out pre-stim. With his tanks and Banshees. Drop into the main. Here he does react, he does respond. Pulls away in time. ByuN is going to be cornered. He's at least keeping these Stalkers busy. As ByuN is still building up, getting a second tank. First, a Banshee has arrived. Okay, just getting one. If he had stayed on Banshee production, then he could go for an earlier push, like with Banshees and tanks being the backbone of the army. That's not the case here, just one Banshee into Stim. Stalkers they poke in, the bunker is not done. Able to abuse that, picks up a couple of Marines. Behind this, we're going for the standard follow, so Blink into Charge, then into +1, then into Splash damage. Whether it's going to be Storm or Colossus is yet to be determined, but either one is going to be an option. Either one is viable. As for now, focusing on a gateway composition. The Banshee does hit the natural. You have the reactive warp in. Chasing down the Banshee. Prism is on the way. This does allow herO to gain map control, and his goal here should be to contain ByuN onto bases for as long as possible. ByuN, he should soon be either throwing down extra Maxes or throwing down a third TC. Nice snipe on the Observer. herO, he's not fully aware of what's going on, but completely not yet. But regardless, he's still outside the bases. ByuN still amassing his army, still waiting for Stim. Once Stim finishes, then he can move out. Meanwhile, we have our splash of choice. Not Storm, Bay into Colossus. So Colossus production out of herO. Let's go for the Colossus. And as ByuN moves out, he expands. And the Prism is going to confirm this. Likewise, as ByuN moves out, herO moves in. Zelts hit the main. No warp in, so the Zelts are going to be dealt with. Yeah, herO's warping it defensively. Here, the Colossus is not ready. Yeah, despite the bait, he has no Colossus. Trying to dive on top of the Marauders. Immortals coming in. Force fields are good, but does herO have enough? I don't think he does. Yeah, not enough Zealots, not enough charge lots. ByuN breaks through, takes out the Immortal, breaks through the Stalkers. Boys are being pulled. I say that, here comes one extra warping of Zealots. Drop back into the main. Oof, massive connections. But herO holds. herO, he holds, he cleans up the army. Back at home, that's going to be 10 probe kills. The Banshee also hits the natural. Very nice harass here. herO, he did well against the main army, but it was the harass. It was the harass that did pull him apart. And now herO, he has to counterattack. Back at home, what do we have to defend? Empty bunker, no tanks. There are 3 Widow Mines here on top of the ramp. herO, oh, gets a medevac. Thankfully, the empty medevac goes down. That was 50-50. Gets the empty medevac. Rotates over, Widow Mines are in position, and ByuN holds. ByuN, he holds. More probes going to be going down. Oh no! Jesus. Mine shot goes up. 15 probes in total. Very nice damage. 17 throughout the course of this game. 15 probe kills. And with that, herO, he races back home. And ByuN is in a strong position. Like, sure, he didn't kill herO, but he did cripple it. Did cripple the economy. He also reset the army in a sense. He was able to pick off all the Immortals. And he traded well. And ByuN does have a lead. herO just now getting to his own Colossus. He's getting there. ByuN, did he scout the bay? He did not. Ooh, so he's not aware of the bay. He's not aware of the tech. So for all he knows, it could be Storm. So as a result, no Vikings. Unfortunately, delayed Viking production here. That may become an issue as the Colossus count gets higher. Second Colossus is on the way. As ByuN sims in. Sims on forward. Mine shots not quite connecting. Nice wing control at herO. At the same time, where are those Zealots? Second Colossus has arrived. He needs charges to buffer, and we just stim in. The Emerald is a stim on forward. They break through the line of Stalkers. So many Stalkers go down, the Colossus as well. Again, without Zealots, this army is just so vulnerable, so fragile. Stalkers and Colossus, they're made out of paper. Ugh. ByuN, he's not stopping. Yeah, he's not stopping. We saw earlier he did have momentum from the early push, from the economic damage, and he's not stopping. He's not stopping. Here, he's up against the wall. He's in a lot of trouble here. ByuN rallying once again. Here, he's ready for a Zealot run by. EP goes up. EP's a solid. Zealots now say just melt. And we spoke earlier, without Zealots, you can just stim in. You can just stim on forward. Gets one Colossus. One Colossus remaining. Cutting the army back. Zealot run by. Oh, okay, killing some SCVs. Getting some damage at least, but only some. So ByuN turns back around. Turns back around. And can herO stabilize? I mean, at least I say that. He did lose a lot of workers there. That was, what, 7 probes going down. herO still trying to stabilize, still building up. Now getting a second Colossus, second Robo's on the way for double Colossus production. herO, he's getting there, but he still needs more time. Disruptors are on the way. He is on the way, and likewise we have more disruptors in production as well. At least now that ByuN is aware of the Colossus, we do have a second starport working towards Vikings. For the most part though, ByuN still has the economic lead, still has the base advantage as well. We have 4 base versus 4 base, always better for the Terran. These little runways are at least buying some time. That's what they need to do. They need to buy as much time as possible. Dragging the entire army back home. And hey, even though herO, he's in a bit of a worse position here with disruptors, I mean, hey, he can pop up. He can fight back even with a smaller army. Away, both players are maxing out. Dark Shrine is thrown down alongside the Fusion Core for ByuN. That should be for Liberators. And ByuN, I don't really see him pushing into the army. Not anymore. I mean, look at the disruptor count. We have 6 disruptors. ByuN, he can't really dive into that. We spoke earlier at the start of the game how here on Tokamak we do often see longer games, and we could even see both players force into a longer game as well. That's kind of what we're getting here. Both players are maxing out. There it goes off. Grazes the army. John peels off into the mineral line. herO getting caught out. Another base going down. Actually doesn't quite commit. Let's go for the expansion. Nova's going up. And coming in for the surround, ByuN getting caught out. Oh my god. Yeah, brutal surround here. Vikings, they get away. The army does load up. We get a recall into the main. Does recall in time. Barely does defend the main base. And ByuN is losing quite a lot quite quickly here. Jesus. Losing medevacs, losing the army. Ghosts are falling. And herO with a couple of strong moments here, with a couple of strong fights. herO, he's back in this. He's back in this. Now getting a 5th base, getting fully saturated. Shadow Stride on the way for Blink DTs. herO, yo, with 8 disruptors, he can pop off. Colossus is going down. Novas, they do more friendly fire than anything. Even towards the end, not quite connecting. Better here. Does connect with the army. Only 1 ghost left. Just the 1. So here does race back home, losing a disruptor. It's back, rebuilds. Here he's up to 9 disruptors. No more Colossus, no Storm either. He's heavily reliant on disruptors, getting another 2. Getting up to 11. Okay. 11 disruptors. Oh, not quite connecting though. And nice split so far by ByuN. 1 connection towards the end. As they do trade. But ByuN is rushing forward, and without disruptors, once they're on cooldown, again, here he cannot hold his own. Typically we speak about how ideally as a proto player you want to mix up your splash damage with disruptors, with Colossus, with some Storm. You can see here that ByuN, he once had a bunch of Vikings, now he doesn't. Now would be the time to go back to Colossus. It's a recall. Then we have the recall back home. The Raiders have been popping off 12 probe kills. You're still trying to be active. Still comes down to the Novas. Massive connections. Yeah, takes down the Ghost. Ghosts are going down. Does cover his retreat. Those have been decent. Just catching out a couple of key units. But the disruptors are lagging behind. Catching out 5, 6, 7 disruptors. That was a big loss for herO. Like here, he'd be in a great position here if he had maintained those disruptors. Also, those, yeah, 7 disruptors going down. Down to 1. Ay, ay, ay. And just 1 disruptor. Now we're going back to Colossus. I mean, now would be a good time as there are no Vikings. As ByuN may have just done it here. At this point, there's not really much to stop him. We got 1 Colossus waddling and we got 1 disruptor likewise. Oh god, barely surviving. But ByuN just has the sheer force, sheer numbers in his favor. Just overwhelming herO. Stims on forward, takes down the Colossus. Again, ByuN had the much stronger early game. herO, he was recovering, was able to max out, but again, the army was a little bit lackluster. Left much to be desired, referring to the mass disruptor that we had at one point. The later switch back into Colossus. With that, the Colossus goes down. Snipes a pop off. And ByuN's just rallying. At this point, he's just rallying across. GG gets called. ByuN, he will overwhelm, and ByuN will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very, very intense game 1. Again, ByuN had a very strong start to the game. He had a very comfortable lead. We saw that herO, he was trying to recover from that, trying to bounce back, and he was able to hold his own for a time, able to max out himself, but again, he never really had much momentum. He had potential with all of his disruptors. Again, there was one point in that game we had 11 disruptors, which was crazy, but despite that, the connections were few and far between. We saw that for the most part, ByuN, he was able to avoid those major connections, either with splitting or with focusing on the disruptors. We saw, of course, the one big fight going his way where he was able to kill 7 disruptors, and from that moment, herO, he just had no real way back into that game. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into game number 2, and we'll see if ByuN extends his lead. We'll see if herO can fight back. So we delve into more of this best of 5. So getting into game 2. Game 2 is going to be on Pylon. Ooh, so we go from one of the more defensive maps in the map pool, which is part of why we got into a bit of a longer game there. And we're going into one of the smaller maps in the map pool, going to be loading into Pylon. Oh boy. Go from one extreme to the other. We're just seeing some of the other maps as well, especially in a best of 5. There are less vetoes, so we get to experience, you know, torches or Lost Fantasy at times. Get to feature some of these other quirkier maps. We're here for it. Let's go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss, the South Korean Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. Down in the series, we'll see him bounce back. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Sharp Rebellion. It is ByuN. Here we go. So getting into game number 2. ByuN, interesting location, setting up his racks further back. Now, we've seen this actually be quite successful before. The goal here is to make it look like he's proxying. And if a probe scout comes in, if the probe only checks the ramp and then pulls away to scout and to overreact, then suddenly here he's forced to, he typically would move out a second probe out to scout as well. You can overreact to more inefficient mining, and ByuN opening up standard instead. Again, so a cheeky start here out of ByuN, just hiding the first racks. We'll see if he gets anything for it. We'll see if herO can confirm what exactly is happening. As here comes a probe scout. Probe scouts into the main. Oh, you can see ByuN, he hides the SCV. Whew, okay, he barely hides the SCV. Very nicely done. With that, again, he's selling the story that he's proxying. He's selling that story. Factory back at home, does fully wall off. herO pokes back in, will confirm the factory, will confirm it's not going to be an all-in, but for all he knows, there could still be a proxy racks out there on the map. The Reaper is revealed, and you can see there for a split moment, too late, too little too late, the Zealot was made. Now, despite that, he can still make use of the Zealot, of course. He's moving out across the map, he can delay the CC on the low ground, but again, it was a double gas opener, faster factory. And we'll see what the Zealot can accomplish. Ideally, it can try to sneak up on the building CC, but the CC's on the high ground. Oof. So this Zealot is going to have a hard time finding damage. Does move out. Likewise, so does the Reaper. We are going to be building the tech lab on the factory, going for the Cyclone. Reaper does poke in. In, pulls away. As Reaper just designed to scout, it gets into the main base. Oh, did we scout the tech though? Checking the vision here. ByuN, he did get eyes on the Twilight Council. He knows. May not have clicked on it in time, but at least this is where the building location. So again, Twilight Council's on the way, getting into Blink. ByuN behind this, I assumed going into early Cyclone. Gets one Cyclone, but only the one Cyclone from here going into earlier tank production. So tanks are going to be amassing. And we'll see if ByuN goes for an early push. He is known for these off-timing move-outs. As the hallucination breaks in, gets eyes on the army. Speaking of move outs, ByuN, he's still building up. Here at least does confirm the CC. ByuN, he does push. Bearing in mind that ByuN knows that his move out's been scouted, so he might not actually commit. He might only go halfway. We'll see how far he goes. Meanwhile, heroes are getting ready. Shield batteries are finishing up. We have the third base on the way. I believe it was 2-gate. Yep. No, sorry, 3-gate. 3-gate blink into a third. So a much safer opener here out of herO. ByuN is moving in. Blink is not done. Tank getting in position. Ooh, tank bullet going up. And herO is going for the tank. He will focus it down. Nice pickup. Does get the tank. Does hold. Whew, okay. herO, he shuts down the tank push. He shuts down the tank. He bullies back the Marines. Remember, there's no stim. And ByuN, he did overextend. The medevac itself under fire. We'll boost away. But again, a shaky start here from ByuN. And herO just counterattacks. He moves in. Going for the dive. He gets the medevac. Doesn't back at the Raven. Not quite. Bunker will complete. Complete. Third base getting up and running. The game will continue from here. But again, here he's gained map control, right? He has map control. ByuN is going to be stuck on 2 bases for the near future. herO once again going for the Bay, going for Colossus. herO, he's building up. So we do enter a bit of a lull. Basically, ByuN cannot push. He cannot push. He cannot break out of these 2 bases without stim. Like, once stim finishes, then he can start to move out. Then he can expand, get a third CC, start landing and breaking into his third base. The other option, of course, is that he might throw down 2 more Raxes. If he throws down 2 more Raxes, then that'll be indicative of a 2 base all in, and then ByuN could pull the boys. But it feels a little bit too late for that. Yeah, too late for that. He's going for the third CC. Third CC is on the way. Getting into a macro game. Once again. True. We mentioned this all the time, but ByuN, he is the most macro-oriented amongst all the Korean Terran players right now, compared to Bunny, Kyor, Maru, Gumiho, Ryung. All those other players that I just mentioned are a lot more willing to go for 2 base all-ins. ByuN, he's the least likely to go for a 2 base all-in. So he throws in a CC, then 2 more Raxes. +1 is almost done. And we'll continue. ByuN does move out on the right hand side. herO coming to slow him down. Ideally, he wants to pick up some Marines, maybe a tank, or at least force a siege. herO getting in position. Tanks are moving in. Zealous collapse on 4 though. They're getting on top of the tanks. And the tanks are going to go down. Nice target fire. Oh my, the target firing gets a Colossus. Takes down the Colossus. Zealous going down. And second Colossus arrives just in time. herO, he barely holds on. Again, that target firing was insane. But here he barely holds, barely survives. ByuN going to be forced back home. Forced back. Holding on. I'm sure tempted to chase. here we are just going to back off. We're building up. I mean, hero's got his 4th base up running. He's got a solid 4 base economy here as ByuN gets his 3rd. So hero, he so far maintains that economy. When it comes to his main army, it's still a little bit lacking here. Sure, he has 1 Colossus. Sorry, he's got 2. He's got 2 Colossus now, but his gas count is quite minimal. Once he gets his gases, then he can afford a 2nd Robo, right? He can afford a 2nd Robo, he can afford Disruptors, or he can start working towards Storm, one or the other. He's not there yet, though. And it's still very much on a knife's edge, just because how small the map is. You can see, from one base to the other, we're right next to each other here, essentially. So it is so important to keep eyes on the move-outs, on the rotations. There's an observer here that's supposed to be the main army of ByuN. Likewise, heroes in the center of the map as well with the Stalker. Just make sure he sees him. Likewise, hero takes over the Xel'Nagas. Take over. Delay reaction out of hero. Getting a couple of probes. But for the most part, we're just calming down, we're building up. Oh, ByuN looking for the observer, barely does miss it. Barely does. As both armies are maxing. Just maxing out from here. I'm still very concerned just about a lack of splash damage. We have a 4th Colossus on the way. Very gateway reliant here is hero. Again, here is still no gases at the 4th, no gases at the 3rd base. He's still heavily reliant on gateway army. On the gateway composition, massive EMPs. And here is getting bullied. He will lose 1 Colossus. There's still 3 left. Still 3. Down to 2 Vikings, they get it behind. Okay, reset the Viking count. ByuN with that Vikings, not so sure he can actually push through. He cannot. ByuN here overextends. Losing a lot of Marauders. Better trades here from hero. And again, ByuN, he was just too careless with those Vikings. Just a little bit too careless. Hero popping off, okay. Getting into 3-2 upgrades. As again, just blinking on forward, forcing his way through. He smells like he has momentum. He wants to go for the kill. Has plenty of Zealots left over, and he's done it. GG gets called. He has done it. He overwhelms ByuN, and hero will tie up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. I was a little bit concerned that we were too heavily reliant there on that gateway army, but no, in the end, ByuN overextended. ByuN, he threw away so many Vikings. The initial fight was going well for him, but after losing all those Vikings, suddenly the Colossus, they reigned supreme. There was nothing to really threaten them. They were just getting so much damage, so much value behind the Zealot Stalker composition. And GG. GG, well played. Hero snowballed into a win, and now we're getting into game number 3. Let's go. Getting into game 3, and we'll see what map we load into. Again, the maps have been a big part of how these games have gone so far. Again, Pylon, sure, the player's maxed out, but you can see that it just doesn't take long at all to go from one side all the way to the other. And once one bad fight goes, or once one fight goes too poorly, then it can be over. Can be over. So with that, GG, well played. We have a tied up series. We're getting into game 3, and we'll see who takes the lead in the series. Will it go the way of the Protoss or the Terran, hero, or ByuN? Let's go. Let's go. Oh, thank you, Angron. Thank you, Angron. Do apologize. We don't have any commands working in the YouTube chat, so we don't have a bracket commands or anything like that. But so I do apologize. But thank you for the kind words. Thank you. As we're getting into our next game, getting into game number 3, gonna be on Persephone. Okay, let's go. And in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss. Oh, Blue Protoss player himself representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Okay, so we've had two kind of different routes here between our two players. herO, he has been playing very Colossus heavy this series so far. He has not gone for Storm, he has not gone for a Templar once so far in the series, which is, I mean, I was going to say normal and standard. Currently the meta is in a place where both options are quite viable. If you're watching StarCraft maybe a month, maybe almost 2 months ago, then you would know that Storm was very trendy, just going into early Storm. That did fall off before EWC. So again, we have had a lot of shifts in the meta. Basically what did force that out of the meta was how players were adapting. We saw that Terran players that were taking into Ghost a lot faster. They were being less aggressive. That was the end of the 2-base all-in meta of TVP and into something more safe out of both players. And we got into a weird game state where both players were just being safe, both players were just being more conservative and getting into longer games. We kind of saw that here in this series so far. Both in game 1 and in game 2, we were getting up to close maxed out armies. Fights would vary though, bear that in mind, and overall compositions did vary as well. But again, we're entering kind of longer games. We'll see how herO does approach. Going for a Sentry opener, interesting. Typically we often see herO open up Adept, going for the early harass across the map, but this time he's going for the early Sentry for the early hallucination. Okay, let's go. Hallucination Scouts. Hallucination does confirm the faster CC economic opener out of ByuN, going for a later factory. Of course, the Hallucination also confirms lack of Tech Lab, so no Cyclones. Also confirms no add-on swap yet. So opening up Hellion to Scouts. Bearing in mind that ByuN, I believe, hasn't seen anything. Yeah, ByuN, no Scouts. No SCV Scouts, and remember, he skipped his Reaper, so no Reaper Scout either. ByuN, he is heavily reliant on this Hellion to give him any information. As a Hellion does move out. As a Hellion moves out, the main army moves in, which is a Stalker and a Sentry. Force Field is available. There are plenty of Marines. Oh. Hellion comes in from behind. Free damage, yes, but most of the Marines have survived. And you see ByuN just buying time for his Cyclone. So you have another hallucination moving in. And after the hallucination goes down, we have an add-on swap here into Cloak Banshee. Okay. Getting into Cloak. Committing a little bit harder. Ooh, hallucination scout is denied. Nice moves here by ByuN. Denies the scout, keeps us hidden. Keeps here in the dark. As ByuN is going further in. He's going further into the bases. Marines are getting shut down. Oh! Medevac is going to be zoned away. Gets 3 probe kills, but that's going to be all the Marines falling. It's a bit of a back and forth trade. But what's important here is that this drop is keeping herO busy, keeping him distracted, and herO, he's still not seeing what's going on. He still does not know that Cloak Banshees are coming. Now, back at home, there is a Robo on the way, so eventually there's going to be detection, but this wasn't prioritized. There was no earlier Robo. This was a faster third. This was a third before Robo, so very greedy build here by herO, and these Banshees have potential. Oh, I say that. The Banshee gets caught out. The Banshee gets spotted. And herO, he does scout the Banshee. Main army's moving in. He has high ground vision. He's blinking into main base. Can he deny cloak? No shot. Oh god, cloak. 3, 2, 1. Oh, oh my god, does finish up just in time. Cloak is done. Stim is not. Both add-ons do go down. At the same time, Cloak is activated. Again, that was literally 1 second. 1 second away. Cloak is on both Banshees, and ByuN, he defends. He attacks across the map. He gets 5 probe kills so far. 5, 6, 7 probes. Again, that was insanely close. 9 probes go down. Crazy damage. And with that, ByuN, he does do crippling damage across the map. That is more than worth it here for one Banshee. Second Banshee's moving out as well. ByuN not looking too bad. Pressure is on herO. herO's moving out. At the same time, Banshee moving in. The Banshee's out of energy, unfortunately, so there's not really too much cloak potential here. herO going back into the main, but this time there's an army ready. No stim. The army's in position. Banshee into the main base. Stalkers, they hit the natural. They get a couple of SCVs. Observer barely gets away. And once again, what's herO doing? herO, he's going into a very gateway heavy style. Charge is complete, throws down a bunch of gateways. Going into Stalker, Zealot, Stalker Chargeler. Then eventually into splash damage, whether it's Colossus or Storm, yet to be determined. But again, we haven't seen Storm at all this series so far. Let's drop his zone away. So far, the drop is zone. herO rushing. Let's go. herO rushing into the gold. And we just pull the boys. I'm pulling the boys. ByuN is going for the 2 base all in. He commits with everything he has. Now, he does have momentum. And remember what we've been emphasizing this entire time. No splash damage. There's no Storm. There's no Colossus. So this is where SCVs can really excel. They can excel here. They're built to tank. And we'll see how well they can. So pushing on forward. Zelda coming from behind. We have the attempted flank. The attempted surround. Zelda somewhat close in distance. SCVs are tanking. A lot of SCVs going to be falling. Down goes to Zelda. That's what he wanted. And ByuN, he's done it. ByuN, he has done it. He has broken through. The goal here was to kill the Zealots with the SCVs, and he was able to pull that off. He still has SCVs left over. 0 Zealots left without charge. There's no defense. There's no defense here. There's no way to stop this. The Stalkers, they do nothing. The Immortal does nothing. We need those charge lots, and the base has fallen. Takes down the mineral line. Rotating back over. herO is trying to get some warp ins, but it's too late. It's too little, too late. Here we go. He has 6 Zealots coming in from behind. One final stand here for herO. One final stand coming in, but again, there's just not enough here. The choke point is brutal. Zelda cannot get us around. They cannot collapse on the army. Zelda cleaned up, and with that, ByuN will take a lead in the series. Oh my god, it's a mind shots connecting. Yeah, he rallies from across the map. He was a little bit scared of a base trade. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will tie up, or he will take a lead in the series 2-1. And he is 1 game away from claiming it, from advancing on to the grand finals. GG, well played. Whew, again, a big risk here out of herO to be so heavily reliant on a purely swarm toss composition, on a purely just gateway army composition instead. As you saw here, this is when you are very vulnerable to these boy pools. You can pull the boys, and again, without Colossus, without Storm, without Archons, without splash damage, the boys, they do so much more work for the Terran army. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into our next game. Oh, let's go. We're loading into A rare sight, the most viewed map in the map pool. Up next, we're loading into Last Fantasy. Let's go. Last Fantasy is coming up next here. That's our next game of choice. ByuN only needs one more game to claim the series. herO has to fight back here and now to force the ace match. Let's go. Let's go. Likewise, the upper semis are still ongoing as well. I believe they're being casted by ByuN. I believe ByuN is covering that series. Well, let's go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Last Fantasy, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss himself representing Twisted Minds from South Korea. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can force the ace match. The pressure's on. It is herO. And spawning in the top side here of Last Fantasy, we have the red Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Troll Rebellion. It is ByuN. Here we go as well. Let's go. As we're proxying, we're going for the G's, we're going for the aggression. Again, welcome to Last Fantasy. Last Fantasy is the most viewed map in the map pool. It is a 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in left side, right side, and top side as well. And here he does take the gamba, does take the chance to proxy dead set in the center. And we'll see if he can, I mean, he should be able to find his opponents. The probe, it's going to be on him to scout to confirm the location of ByuN. And we'll see if ByuN goes for a greedy build. If he goes economic, if he goes for a Rax Expand, then herO, he might be able to punish. Dave is also casting a straight versus Max. Oh, there you go. Ome Dave. Ome ByuN. They're on that PvP. Ooh, as ByuN, he's going for the CC. He's going for the Rax Expand economic opener here out of ByuN, which is ideal for herO, and it's going to be on herO to punish this. We do have the Zealot on the way. We have the Zealot. We're going to be rallying across the map, and we'll see if herO can punish. We'll see if he can cancel this command center. Oh boy. As here comes the Zealots. We're going to be chronoing out the Adepts. Adepts are being chronoed as we speak. CC is still getting there. Meanwhile, big shout out to Jan Wolf in the chat. God, baby God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for the first for 7 months in a row with Twitch Prime. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Do appreciate the support. Hope you enjoy the content, the casting, the StarCraft, and welcome to the PiGosaur Cup. Again, we're nearing the end of the broadcast. We're here in the semifinals to determine who will make it to the grand finals. As the Zealot has arrived, the Adepts have arrived as well. The CC is still not yet done, and the CC should be delayed, should be denied. Go. As ByuN is stuck on one, he has nothing. ByuN has no units. He has no units to fight, no units to defend. But you can see that here he's not looking to cancel. I mean, he does force a cancel regardless. That is brutal damage. Does cancel the CC. He's pushing up the ramp. ByuN, he had to get the refund to afford anything. And hero's going for the kill. He's going for the kill. 2 Marines have arrived. Cyclone is on the way, but he needs more time for the Cyclone. hero's still just rallying across. The wall is going to be broken. He breaks through, breaks into the main. Going for another depot. Cyclone is almost out. Oh. He's surviving. Cyclone has arrived. And herO from here just expands. He's freely expanding. GG gets called as ByuN. He takes critical damage. Losing that natural base was all that herO needed. And herO ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. Whew, GG. Again, just a really bold move for ByuN to go for an economic opener on Last Fantasy. It was a big chance. It was a big risk. And he got punished for taking that chance, for taking that risk. He was forced to cancel the CC. That was a big blow to ByuN. He got supply blocked after losing that depot. He had no units to work with. Even though, yes, he got a Cyclone, it was just too much too quickly. GG. We're going to Game 5, and we'll see how this story ends as we're going to be loading into Maganatha. Let's go. Maganatha, the largest map in the map pool. Don't get bigger than Maganatha. Oh boy. Let's not get bigger. Ooh, looks like we're being joined by the other casters. Which means the upper semis must have concluded. Yes, the upper semis did wrap up. Looks like Max did take that series. Oh. Did take that series 3-1. Max is waiting in the grand finals within the series. Here we go. Here it is. So we have the rest of the bracket kind of lined up for us. We're going to be wrapping up this game and this series, and then this will lead into Max. Let's go. Does lead into Max. Oh no, the mom jokes. Calm down, Bobby, calm down. Not bigger than Magnath. Feels Magnath, man. Feels Magnath. Let's go. That's going to be getting into our final game of the series. Now, because the map is so large, despite that, we do sometimes see shorter games here, going for all-ins, trying to end the game early before we are forced into, you know, 4-base setup and a half-hour-long game. We'll see how our players will approach this. This morning, in the top left-hand corner of Magnatha, we have our blue Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, going for the SCV straight across the map, we have the South Green Terran player. We have the Red Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. Where are we headed? Where are we dropping? Where are we dropping? As the SV does move out across, this may just be for an eBay block at the natural to force the unnatural natural and to create an opening and to create the opportunity to get some damage done. But no, we are going for the racks instead, not just with one SCV. Here comes the second SCV. ByuN, he's like, yo, you wanna cheese me in game 4? I'll show you how it's done. In the ace match of all maps, again, no fear for ByuN. 2 racks Reaper out of our Terran player. Gases are being taken back at home, and ByuN, he is gonna commit. And we'll see what he can get done. We'll see if herO can get a scout as to what's happening as well. Now, because the map is so large, some players just avoid probe scouting. They just avoid probe scouting altogether here. And if that's going to be the case, then herO won't know what's coming his way until the last moment, until the last second. As reactions are finishing. herO going for his own standard gate expand. Tech Labs on the way, going Proxy Marauder, and I'm getting flashbacks to I Am Katowice, Bobby. I'm getting flashbacks, Proxy Marauder here, getting flashbacks to herO versus Cure, which, I mean, we've actually seen that a couple of times here when it comes to Cure going for the Proxy 2-Rax Marauder and getting out some shell. And here we go, Marauders are on the way, and so far herO still has no idea what's happening is the problem. How do you respond to this? Ideally, you set up on the high ground. You can throw down additional gateways. You can throw down a robo as well. Shield Barriers on the high ground, just giving up on the natural. Typically, it is advised to give up on the natural base. But herO doesn't know. He doesn't know how vulnerable he is. He doesn't know how much danger he's in. As Marauders are building up. herO has 0 vision, 0 scouting. Until now, he went for a sentry opener. He sees everything. But this is a late scout out of herO, late realization. He's going to try to make the stand at the natural. That's not going to be easy. Yeah, shield battery goes down. There's no defense at the natural base. Meanwhile, there is a sentry on the high ground, ready for a force field. ByuN takes in the pylon. Time to go up. Oh, there's a force field. Still pushing through. Catches out the Stalker. Not quite. Shield Battery does defend. Nice movement out of herO. Saves the Stalker. Robo's on the way, but again, it's a delayed Robo out of herO. And there's still one more force field. There's still a force field available. The natural base is going to go down. herO, he will make a stand at the ramp. But ByuN from here, after he kills the base, he could just expand. There it is. There's a transition. Factory's on the way. Getting to the factory. Knocking down the Nexus. supply blocking herO as well. And ByuN backs off. Yeah, he backs off, he retreats. There it is, CC on the high ground. The Ranks are floating back home. ByuN, he found the damage he was looking for, and herO will play from behind. Now, herO, he may turn this into an all-in. We'll see, but herO, he can go Immortal into a Prism, then go across the map. Otherwise, he's going to have to slowly expand instead and slowly break out and try to catch up. Ideally, once herO breaks out of his own main base, we do need him to achieve a little bit more damage. Even if he has no intention of pushing into the main base of his opponents, the goal should be at least to contain, right? To contain ByuN on one base for as long as he can, while herO re-expands. Here comes that War Prism, though. Prism is on the way. To warp in across the map to get high ground vision as well. herO, he's pushing. He does have a massive army in comparison to ByuN. But herO is expanding, so he's not going all in. He doesn't throw down extra gateways. As he moves out. The scout has confirmed no CC on the low ground. herO, he shouldn't phase check up the ramp. Yeah, spots the tank. Spots the tank. Still gets a depot, not bad. Takes down a depot, and ooh, he's looking for another, but he will lose a stalker in the process. He's within, no, he's within range. herO, late reaction, no reaction. herO, he was distracted with a prism. He tried to go in, the prism goes down, the immortal goes down. Oh no, herO losing both the high-tech units, both the robo units here. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. Again, he lost the immortal as he was distracted, and he ended up losing both. And ByuN, he'll expand. ByuN, he will break out. There's not much to stop him. Okay, force fields. Never mind. Force fields will slow him down. ByuN just tanking shots. Okay. That was quite necessary, but sure. We do have a lot of force fields available, but tank quality does go up. The observer goes down. ByuN breaks out. Does break out. See in the chat, this delayed. When it comes to any delays, we do have a command in the chats. There is no delay for this tournament. There are some tournaments where we have like a 2-minute delay, for example, or a 90-second delay, but there is no delay for this tournament outside of the inbuilt delay on OBS and Twitch, which is like a couple of seconds. It's like a quote-unquote natural delay. We do see ByuN is going to be forced out of the main. Meanwhile, ByuN, he does expand, does take his own natural. Working towards stim, combat shields, +1. Again, ByuN, he is in a commanding position. herO, he's going to try to rush into his third base. Remember, herO, he's been in a really rough position. He lost his natural earlier. He lost his immortal. He lost his prism. We go. And we'll see if herO can recover here. ByuN has a really strong timing available. He can just move out with stim, with combat shields as well. We spoke about this earlier, but right now herO, because of all the losses as well, he has no splash damage. He's going for a very gateway heavy style. So just like we saw previously in the series, ByuN could pull the boys. He could pull the boys because there's no storm, there's no colossus. When behind, Dark Shrine. Let's go. DET is going to be on the way. This is a way to recover in this game. This is a way to bounce back and to force scans and to maybe wreak havoc. At the same time, though, here comes the drop, and ByuN, he might be able to scout. He might get eyes on the Dark Shrine. Here comes ByuN. ByuN's moving in. As the drop is going to be shut down, does not get further into scouts. Nice snipe on the medevac. Very nice snipe. There we go. ByuN is pushing. Now, defensive DTs can also be ideal as well. Speaking of, here coming in from behind, the boys are being pulled. As we mentioned, remember, no splash damage. The boys being pulled here can just do so well and do so much. There's a recall back home. And ByuN, does he hold on to scans? He does. He has scans in the main. Does rush forward. The SCVs are stuck behind. They have to get in. The boys. Yeah, the boys are behind the army. Marine's going to be going down. A fumbled attack here from ByuN. The boys, they got to get in there. Ay, ay, ay. Again, brutal force fields. But ByuN is still gaining ground. Here comes the first Dark Templar. There's a scan. Gets both DTs. Yeah, both DTs go down. And ByuN, he's breaking through. No more Zealots. No more Dark Templar. And ByuN is done. ByuN is breaking the back of herO. Again, herO's been behind from the entire game, from the start of the game, I should say. He's been trying to recover. Emphasis on trying. And that's why pulling the boys at this moment was like the correct call. Again, no Storm, no Colossus. It's too early for that. No splash damage. The more boys are here. Let's go. Pulls the rest of the boys. Kills the third, but we need more than that. We got to keep going. ByuN is pushing in. Yo, we got turrets just in case. We have detection. But he's giving herO time to warp in. herO's got a couple of extra Zealots. Here go the mine shots. Oof. One of mines do connect. They shut down the Zealots. One tank goes down for both Immortals, and ByuN, he has done it. Again, there's just barely a standing army here. ByuN, he will snowball out of control. Boys are being pulled in a moment of desperation. But ByuN, he will take it. Takes down the middle line, takes down all the probes. And with that, we have our finalists. We have our finalists here for this week's PiGosaur Cup. At the same time, we do see herO going for the base trade. Warping in across the map. But there's too much defenses. Too many defenses here. We have production. We have a second army. ByuN, he defends. He still has a greater economy than herO. As herO will lose that natural. You can see herO microing his heart out, trying to find some more damage here. Drops into the natural. Gets a couple of SCVs. Here, he's pulling a Terran. He's coping. GG gets called. As ByuN, he will take the series 3-2, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, ByuN will claim it. Again, a really strong start out of ByuN to be able to kill the natural base. Remember, he sniped the natural, he killed the Immortal, killed the Prism as well. It was a disastrous start from herO, and herO did what he could to try to recover in that game, to try to bounce back. There were definitely some nice moments where he was able to delay the CC, for example, force fielding the ramp, but alas, he could only buy time for so long. And with that, we saw that ByuN, he smelled blood in the water. He made the choice to go for the all-in. He pulled the boys, recognizing how vulnerable herO would be before herO could ever stabilize. GG. GG, well played. And even then, even when it came to that fight, we saw that herO had some very nice force fields. We saw that it took a long time for the SCVs to be a part of the fight, so like the fights probably went as well as I could have for herO, to be honest, but still wasn't enough. Still wasn't enough. GG, well played. With that, we have our two finalists. It's going to be a grand finals between ByuN and MaxPax. Let's go. Getting ready for those grand finals.